Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NickTalks. So, first off, obviously, thank you for watching. Hope everyone's doing great. Hope we're making some good changes and learning and getting better, you know? That's what we're all about here. So, few things on my end. Camera coming soon. Not quite yet, but very soon. I did get some lights to improve the lighting in the background here, but as we can see, they are not very bright. I'll leave them on just because it's, you know, whatever the first step. This guy over here is doing work, but I don't know what this guy's doing. And they're the same brightness, just because that whiteboard stuff that I put on is more reflective. But anywho, notes on, oh yeah, because I technically did touch on this, but I never posted the video because it was touching on the kind of social experiment at work currently. It has long been obvious that it is inevitable that I am going to have to, or am already on the path to return to being social. You know, like I've been very boom, and it's already, the trend has already started that way. And actually there's been some interesting developments because of my original character, the original character that I came into work, not to be so bouncy here, but like I created the character of like, I don't mess around and it's all fun, no fun and games, and I just work hard, that kind of guy, which is partly me, obviously, but like also it's not that serious. But that character that I have created has created some, whoa, what the hell, over? Jeez, lower it a little bit. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell. Camera just decided to die on me. And by die, I mean... But anywho, so that whole model of being has caused some pretty insane reactions among some two specific people at work. Everybody else is super chill, but I don't know if it's lack of understanding or fear or both or inadequacy or what, but there's like some nutty stuff going on. So now I'm gonna, now that I know that the return to messing around essentially, and while still working hard but taking it less serious, is inevitable, I'm gonna kind of steer it a little bit intentionally so that well, we'll see. But anywho, with that being said, let's jump right into the taters. I don't really have much else to touch on. Edits to the plan, but we'll mention that in another video, I think. So, first off, I wanted to talk about how I feel. Switching some stuff around here. How I feel now that I have completely gotten rid of some habits, and this also kind of doubles down on the whole I pay it gladly bit. So I mean, I don't know how much I've mentioned it in the past, but I have loved smoking in my past. Good Lord, do I love a good dart, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, you know, the more that I learn about health, especially given that that's like probably my #1 area of study, it's just like not worth it. It's just not worth it. At least as a habit, you know, maybe the occasional, extremely rare cigarette, but it's just so horrible for pretty much every aspect of your life, chemically, psychologically, mechanically, physically. Like, it's just every, you know, so many aspects of why it's not good for you. And it's just, especially now that like I'm running and my training is getting more and more specific, it's just not worth that. So I've even elected to kind of reduce the schedule to less than rare. And I've noticed something very interesting about that, especially now that I've gotten pretty far away from it emotionally. And that is that, like, I don't. This is the most. This is the most detached from smoking that I've been since I started smoking. Sorry, I'm going to adjust you a little bit here. Since I started smoking, which is, I think, a win, right? But with that, I've noticed something important, and I think that there's a lesson in here as well. And that is that, well, for one, like, I don't feel this anxiety of wanting to do it all the time. And that's not even from an addiction standpoint, because even times that I've taken pretty long breaks, I've still felt like I know that I'm sacrificing something. But now that I've accepted, and I've accepted why I'm sacrificing this habit, and I have a multitude of reasons as to why it's something that I don't want, it's, it's so much further away in my mind to where it's not even in the back lingering. It's, obviously occasionally it'll pop up, but it's most of the time a non-issue. And I notice that I can just be so much more present with my time, and when I go places, I'm just so much more involved in what I'm doing than, waiting to go smoke or thinking about, like, when's the next time I'm going to smoke, and the closer that you are to, or that I am to, when the last time I smoked, obviously that gets worse. But I noticed that it was always lingering. It was always some level of ambient anxiety that just was just subtly there. And now that I've really given myself so many reasons why I don't want to do it, not why I shouldn't, right? Not why my partner doesn't like it, not why it looks bad, right? Or people will judge me, but like real reasons as to why I don't want to do it. I just have such a less of an urge, and it takes up no part of my mind, essentially, or very little at least. And it's pretty freeing, and I feel so much more at peace and in control all the time. And this is smoking or vaping or whatever. I just mean nicotine consumption in general. I mean, not even nicotine consumption, because I can chew a piece of nicotine gum, and I don't get any kind of withdrawal, or I don't like want another piece of gum or anything. It's like very clean. So obviously there's some other things going on within ingesting nicotine that way through inhalation that is, and some other stuff that's in vapes and cigarettes too. But anyways, like, I just, without it, and I'm not actively chewing nicotine gum. I've tried it a couple times over the last month or so, and pretty clean. It's not really anything special to me, but anywho, after accepting this new dynamic of, like, I don't want it, and I have many reasons why that I've thought through extensively, it's really just given me such a relief from that, I know it's not a problem, and I just feel so much more comfortable wherever I am, because I'm not tricking myself or lying to myself or anything, and I've done my homework as to why this habit has been given up. And not only does that go for smoking, but it also kind of goes for drinking. Now, I haven't quit drinking, okay, but I have severely reduced the amount of alcohol that I intake, and I haven't even really done my homework on what alcohol does. But I just, continuously hear about how there's, like, probably just as many things that it does bad for you that cigarettes does, or more. And also, like, I'm, just really pinning down on all the positive habits that I want and where I want my life to go. And I've just noticed that I just don't really want to engage in that much. I still enjoy it, I still like it, and it's still there, but it's not like an urge, like an itch. And it's such a, like, the amount of control, I cannot emphasize that enough, or stress that enough, that I just feel so much more like stable energy all the time, where there's not all this vibration happening where I'm wanting or urging or jonesing for some hooch, dog. I'm so stable. And this is like I haven't felt this stable in I think a very long time. And I think there's a lot of benefit there, a lot of benefit that did not really expect. I didn't really expect, and I think that not only is the lesson here total acceptance of the deletion of a poor habit, that for sure. Also, finding the importance of finding a why, or a couple whys, right? Like reasons for why you want to do things. Because, everybody talks about the man, what do they say? That the man who has a good why can endure almost anyhow, right? Well, I'm finding that to be increasingly true to an extraordinary extent. It's like the more that I stack up reasons as to why I want to be something more than I am, the less I feel pulled to do the things that take me from that. Because there's so many things that is like, okay, this is why I want to be better. It's like smoking is bad for me because it degrades my veins and arteries. It gives me high blood pressure. It increases my risk of mortality by like 40%, right? It smells bad. It's expensive. Like I can just stack and stack and stack and stack and stack. When on the other side of the fulcrum here is, it feels pretty good. And it, looks kind of cool, right? Which, hey, if anybody tells you it doesn't look cool, they're freaking lying to you, dude. That's a slick trick right there. But anywho, that's nothing. That's nothing over here, and I have all these things and more stacked on this side, and so like the urge to do it is minimal to none, right? And so the importance of digging deep and finding why you want to do something, and that's the only way that I see that is going to really cement the move completely towards positive habits and getting rid of negative habits. And you can argue that, or just have, strong willpower, which is how I quit smoking in the past anyways. But at the same time, if you can create this system of digging deep and finding whys and doing your research and understanding yourself and your personal reasons as to why you don't want to do something anymore, then that addictive behavior, we don't talk about addiction on here enough, but I definitely want to launch into it much more in the future. But that addictive behavior becomes much less enticing just because there's so much more at stake, right? Uh-oh. Here we go again. Now we're good. Gotcha, baby. So, stack your whys, man. Stack your freaking whys. That has helped me so much. And like, as I say all the time, I am the king of impulses, dude. Like, if I want something, there's a lot of me that is, hard to stop. But now that I can slow down and just think things all the way through and give myself a huge reason as to why I don't want that thing, it makes it so much easier to say no, even in the moment, even when it's sitting right in front of me. And so that I can have it right here, boop, boop, boop. And may I want to? Sure, but I have a whole brigade of reasons as to no, right? So I think that's really important, man. I think that so many things can become addictive, and to each and every person a different item. But this concept of creating a powerful why, or creating a long list of powerful whys, is going to lead, I believe, anyone out of the dark, and give you enough reasons to say no or to say yes to the right thing, right? Right, cool. And whew, in the same vein, wow, man. See, I can edit now, so I can cut this bad boy, but not in the raw version. But anywho, in keeping with this theme of creating positive habits, understanding your whys, developing stronger whys, better whys, and more whys, I also want to get into living intentionally in all aspects, which is something that I hold very dear. This is like a pretty core Nick philosophy, is living intentionally, meaning having a reason for doing what you're doing with everything. Why do I think in this pattern? Why do I eat at these times? Why do I sleep at these times? Why do I read the things that I do? Why do I engage in the behaviors that I do? Why do I talk the way that I do? Why do I laugh the way that I do? Why do I dress the way that I do? Why do I drink what I drink? Why do I eat what I eat? Why do I paint the walls of my house this specific color? Why did I choose the colors that I did for my branding? Right? Why did I, whatever. Just taking intentionality and just thinking through, like, why am I doing this? Because I think, so many habits have crept into my life just by accident. And sometimes they're not always, terrible, but if I don't have a reason to do something, then I really need to, as I'll talk about in a second, self-audit and figure out what's going on here, right? And so I feel as I continue to strive to do nothing by accident, that I feel so much more, again, in control. And this is not like some sort of advocation for being a control freak. I just mean that, like, the only person who can run my life is me, as we've talked about in the past. Check out my necessary commentary in the car. That, I'm the captain of my life. And as the captain of my life, I should be the one who contributes the most to what actions I partake in, right? Not social programming or parental, upbringing, or childhood memories, or trauma, or addiction, or, anything. I should not be letting anything control my behavior other than me, other than this up here, right? So, and the more that I do that, the more that I go down this path, I feel so much more at ease with myself, because I know, like, you can ask me about anything that I do. Not right now, I'm just saying, like there's still plenty of things that I have to figure out, but, the goal is that you can ask me about anything that I do, even the smallest of habits. Why do I tie my shoes the way that I do? Why do I sleep on this side of the bed? Why do I have this pillow, right? Anything, and I'll have a specific answer. And this is something that I've always been big into, sometimes more than others. But now that I'm intentionally like, okay, I understand why this is beneficial, and I'm going towards that constantly, and especially with doing like real science-backed research on, different habits and different behaviors and, psychology and things like that, and I can kind of undo certain programmings and then reprogram things that I want. The difference is crazy. It's like absolutely wild, and I can't stress enough how much better I feel. Right? And that's kind of the whole deal, is that I think, which actually will come up later, but it's so easy to get caught up in optimization that it becomes like an addiction in itself, in like making things better. But it's really, optimization exists for efficiency and quality of life, right? So if I'm focusing so much on every little tiny thing that it's making me insane, then, like, hold on, dude. But if I just think about it, what toothpaste do I like, and why do I like it? It tastes good, makes me feel fresh, right? It's supposed to be pretty good, 9 out of 10, right? So there you go. But not taking it so serious that it's, I feel like I'm losing myself here, but anywho, in order to continue to pursue this, you have to study to find a reason to do the habit that you're doing, or don't do that habit, right? Because if, say I do my homework on the way that I brush my teeth, since we're already on that topic, if I do my homework on that and I realize that, there's a better way to do it, then now there exists this problem of, like, the way that I'm doing it is suboptimal, and not, I already know how to do it better, so I might as well switch over. Or, maybe I do the research a little bit, and I find out that a habit that I have is, completely irrelevant. Like, nice, dude, this is so free. It's so free that I can just be like, hold on a second. And then I can just go whoop and cut this whole bad boy out, man. This is great. This is so great. So, point being, if you can't find a reason for the behavior that you continuously engage in, then don't do it. Erase it. It's that simple. It's just, if I can't find some sort of, logical element in something that I'm doing, then why am I doing it that way? And so I can just shoo that off and usher in a replacement that would make so much more sense, right? And then there we have it, another aspect of living intentionally, right? So now I'm not just like this thing that just happened by accident, right? Oh, I just sit in a chair like this because I always have. It's like, why do I do that? That's a little bit of a weird example, but you understand what I'm saying, right? And, replacing the habits with the new ones. So, and again, or kind of circling forward from the circle back about the self-audit, just kind of taking a self-diagnosis and looking through your habits, because this is the thing that I think is kind of the hardest and requires the most amount of attention, is taking the time to look through every habit that you have and dissecting it and understanding as to why. Because sometimes you don't need like hours of research and science and all this stuff to figure out that like that's probably not the best thing. I could be doing that better, right? And then replacing that with a better habit. But the audit is crucial. The audit is crucial. If you never take a look, you're not going to really find ways to improve what you're doing. And there's so many things that go unnoticed, right? And one big area that I use this in is cleaning, because I'm in charge of cleaning in my household, right? And so this is something that super highlights every aspect of this, essentially, where I all the time have to check the way that I do things. Why do I wash dishes in the way that I do them at the time that I do them, and is that optimal? Well, if I leave them sit there, suddenly we have flies in an instant because we live in Florida, right? If I do them right after I'm done, it's much better. So therefore, replace that habit with the old one, right? And therefore, living intentionally, right? It's not just like, oh, I just do dishes when I do dishes. No, I have a plan as to why I do dishes at this time, because it is the best, or it is at least better than I did it before, because I feel like there's always room for more optimization, right? But anywho, we'll kind of close this one out. I can't argue enough that living intentionally will be better always than just living by default. And this goes for, the way that you work, to the way that you clean, to the way that you think, right? You can always restructure anything in your life because you are in control. You're in control. This is 101, man, of improvement. And this is something that, I always kind of knew, but not to the extent that I'm aware now. And there's just so many, like, as I continue to improve even this tiniest things, I realize, like, dude, there's really nothing in my life, in my mind, on my body, in my body, that I can't fix and make better, right? And so why would I not? Why would I not? What would be the benefit of not pursuing that greatness? And this brings us to number 3, right? And that is the benefit of having a pure, intense desire for better. Always, right? This came up, actually the specific wording of this was my partner's doing, but the concept has been slowly bubbling up over the last few weeks as I think about my relationships and why specifically my friendships. Some of my friendships have failed in the past because of this thing. Or, I mean, there's probably more reasons than just this, but this seems to be a big thing. And why there's often friction between others. And it's just such a prime philosophy that I didn't even realize has always guided my life and always been part of who I am. And so again, a pure, intense desire for better, right? So let's kind of dissect that a little bit as we continue. So a pure, meaning pure of heart, good intentions, in good faith, desire. The want, the need for better. And this is for better things, better habits, better emotional state, better relationships, better understanding, better knowledge, better car, house, financial status, systems, right? Oh, everything can be better. And it is human nature to desire better, but I feel like sometimes, we get shamed into losing that desire. But really, just keeping this at the forefront of your mind, of my mind, always has been this massive propeller towards my goals. Because it transitions my mind from, where do I want to go? Or I guess that's not true. It just makes it such a lifelong endeavor, a lifelong thing that always yearning for more, for better, for something more than what I have now. And pure, just pure of heart completely, right? And that just, it takes the focus away from the goals, away from the stuff, right? Because it's not about like, oh, I want to get a Porsche and then I'll be totally cool. No, dude, once I get that Porsche, then I want the next thing. Then I want the next thing, right? Once I learn this topic of information, that is not the end of the road. Then go to the next thing, dig deeper and deeper and deeper, right? Once I learn how to have better relationships, how can I improve them even more, right? So it just creates this infinite loop of continuously improving in every aspect. And applying that to everything just takes the goalpost and moves it all the way out. And chasing that constantly is just massive growth all the time. And relating this to relationships, I noticed that a lot of my friendships, not a lot, I'd say that a select few of relationships that were important to me have failed because there was friction from the fact that I will never say no to the call. I will never ignore the adventure. I will never put aside my desire to get something better than what I have, right? And I think that sometimes that is not the case for others. And in being confronted with that, causes issues occasionally. Again, I said I think that there's a lot more stuff going on in these relationships in particular, but I think this is a big deal. And noticing, and also really quick on this is not a competition thing. This is not better for me. This is not better than everyone. This is just better for me, better in my life. This is a direction for my personal existence and not to be compared with others. Better for me is not always better for someone else. And I think that is where there's this friction in past relationships where, it seems like there had been some sort of comparison and maybe some sort of insecurity and, maybe some sort of jealousy or something, rather than just like, hell yeah, well, let's go do it together. Let's reach infinity together, right? Continuously moving forward. But that's maybe something else. But anyway, this is so key in my opinion. Just this constantly, I don't want to get there. I want to keep going. And why? Because why the fuck not, dude? Why not? What reason do I have to not pursue the greatest thing that I can pursue, to achieve the greatest thing that I can, to transform myself into the greatest man that I can become? What reason do I have? None. Other than lacking self-belief or insecurity or anger or, whatever, trauma. But none of that shit matters, man. Like, deal with that on the side, sure, it has to be dealt with, but really just, I want to go as far as I can, right? And it's like, what is my goal for this channel? Infinite. I want to grow it as big as possible. What is my goal for my fitness journey, right? I want to get as big as possible. And then I want to get as lean as possible. And then I want to get as healthy as possible and as fit as possible, right? Just to see what it's like, Now, I don't, obviously, specifically in fitness terms, I don't have to stay massive. And I'm talking naturally as well. I am not advocating the use of steroids at all. In fact, I don't believe in the use of steroids unless you're in competition. Obviously, do what you got to do in your own life, but I'm not competing. So there's literally no reason for me to ever take steroids. I just want to see where my body gets naturally. Like, what am I capable of? What kind of juice do I have in the tank, dog? You know what I'm saying? So, quick caveat there, but getting massive, as big as I can, and then, seeing if I like that or if I don't. Does that put strain on my health? Then dialing it back and then getting super lean and seeing how that is, right? Maybe switching entirely to endurance. Sure, why not? But either way, just whatever I'm doing, going to the max of what is the best. How can I be the freaking best, right? Because why the hell not? What better do I have to do in my life than strive to be the greatest that I can be, right? It makes no logical sense to me why I wouldn't choose to reach my full potential in all aspects. And I feel like the more that I accept that and the more that I push towards that, the more passion that I feel for life in general. And like we've talked about in the past, and even earlier in this video, what else do we want other than to feel good? To look good, feel good, play good, as Galpin says. That's what we want, man. That's what life's all about, brother. Creating experiences, living a great life, having a good time, looking awesome, being awesome. Dude, come on, man. Let's get after it. Let's freaking go, dude. And every single person is capable of doing this, right? This is not like, oh, I just want to do this for my life. Dude, everybody should do this. Everyone should gear themselves towards the highest possible achievement. Because why not? What else you got to do, dog? What else? But anywho, with that being said, we kind of burned through these bad boys, so let's go ahead and run back through it, and then we get to our life hack. So, first we have, I just went over some notes on how I feel about accepting the reasons why I'm not smoking and why I'm not drinking and why I'm doing these habits, why I'm running, why I'm going to the gym, creating more and more reasons, understanding my reasons, creating better reasons, and the importance of those reasons as I continue through. When things get hard, that is what holds me down. That is what keeps me going, is the reason why. When I, want nothing more in the moment than to freaking smoke a cigarette, I can just look back at this laundry list of things as to say, why I shouldn't. And then, okay, right? Whereas without that, if I had like two things, it'd be like, I'll do it anyways, right? But now, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, right? Moving on top of that, living intentionally in all aspects. Audit yourself, man. Take a look at what you're doing, why you're doing it. Understand yourself, know yourself, right? Study habits, study ways to become better and live more intentionally, taking your habits and understanding why you do them, why you should do them, why you shouldn't do them, and then if you shouldn't, delete them. If you should, do them. Make them better. Follow that up, right? Because you will feel so much more. I feel, anyways, that I am so much more in control of my life the more that I pinpoint a reason why I do everything. And I just feel so much more comfortable that I have answers to any question, almost any question that I can be asked about the way that I live my life. And maybe it's not the same as Living intentionally is not the same as living perfectly, right? But it may not be the same as, someone else's intentionality, but at least if you ask me, I have a freaking reason. And we could talk about it and argue over it, and maybe your thing that you do is better than the thing that I do, and I can make a change, but at least I have a reason why I do things, and I'm not emotional about it. I've thought it through, right? And the peace that comes with that, right? And then we had a pure, intense desire for better, always. Always moving the goalpost, always keeping the journey continuous, always striving for the next thing, the next best thing, and not at an unhealthy, materialistic desire standpoint, but just, I want to move up. I want to move up. I have, as far as I'm aware, as far as I know factually, I got one of these things. I got one go round, right? So why not make it the best one I got? The best it possibly can be. Why not push as far as I can? Expend the energy. What other choice do I have other than to be the person I was meant to be, or something greater, right? Right. Cool. So that's what we had today. And with that, we have our life hack, which is a quote from the character portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, Van Wilder, which is, well, actually it's from somebody else in the movie, but Van Wilder says it, so we're going to say it's him. Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out alive, which has been an important reminder. I just watched it the other day, and I noticed that it's very easy for me to white knuckle my way through life and just grip, the bull by the horns just too tightly. And it's like, dude, it's okay. Because as we've gone over a couple times today, it's not about only living a better life. It's about living a happier life, and a life that I'm comfortable with, and a life that I love, and that I'm, enjoying, I'm having a good time. So if I'm just pushing so hard that it's no longer fun, then you're doing it wrong. It's for the wrong reasons. If I'm not happy with what I'm doing, then what's the point? If I'm not excited by the process that I'm enduring, that I'm going through, then what the hell am I doing? What am I doing it for? I'll just get rid of everything now so I can have everything later. No, dude. I'll just enjoy my life now and also enjoy it later for different reasons. Just enjoyment, man. It's okay. It's all right. We're going to get there. You got plenty of time. Okay? Relax. Take it easy. Joke around. Watch a funny movie. It's okay. Listen to some music. Chill out. It's all right. So, man, I can't believe we wrapped up in under 40. Under 40, shouty. But it's a short one. It's a short one. That's okay. Sometimes they go longer. Sometimes they go shorter. But as always, thank you guys for watching so much. I really appreciate it. Going to be some positive changes coming soon. As I said, camera. I got to get better lights here. Hopefully some better branding. And maybe an intro coming soon, actually. Exciting things. I just got editing software. Also, I'm a freaking idiot sometimes, man. Genius, hyper intelligent, and definitely the smartest. But sometimes an idiot, gotta say. But I have editing software now, so we're rocking and rolling, baby. We're moving along. Let's do it. So, that being said, no more notes. We can go ahead and give you the Nick app.